let me just talk first about the transition if we went there. If there's a major failure, if GM goes down and it is busted apart, the cascade effects, as Mr. McAleese, thank you. As Mr. McAleese said, are absolutely real. Cascading failures will run through thousands of enterprises because this is a big business, many percent of GNP. And what's interesting about it also is because of the machining in this industry, you lose a supplier, you could actually interrupt production, not even of the failing companies, but of all of the companies. There are real risks of cascading bankruptcy and then supply-side seizures. If one says, well, that's a worst-case scenario, you're just frightening us, that's what they said about Lehman Brothers on September 15. We'll show how markets work. Let's close them down. Then you had cascading failures that have shocked the world like we've not seen for 75 years. Now, with our economy absolutely on its back, if we tried that, that's one of those things that I would not try at home. I've spent a career watching financial crises. We do not want to let a major company go bankrupt right now like this. This would be a disaster, just a disaster. So we'd end up with certainly double-digit unemployment rates in this country. We'd end up with 15 to 20% unemployment rates throughout the Midwest. I never thought I would live to see us approaching a depression. I was trained for, and I've taught for 30 years at Harvard and Columbia, that we've learned all the tricks. That doesn't have to happen. We're flirting with that right now. I thank you for voting the legislation, as painful as it was politically, the TARP, because we're going to need that, and it's going to get designed better and done better over the next few months, that's for sure. It had to be done in a panic because of the way that the panic was set off on September 15. But don't do this one on top of that mistake of Lehman, because we'll trigger things we don't even know right now. So I know your question, Congressman, is about the long-term sense of the United States, but I'm worried about the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I don't want to have a depression in this country. And I want us to take minimum responsibility to use 3.7% of what you voted to avoid a depression. It's a no-brainer in my view. This is not a hard one. It's hard for you to be a bank, but you already voted $700 billion. Get the Treasury to be the bank and get on to avoid a disaster. This is not an industry, by the way, that's in collapse. We're not saving the buggy whip industry. This is an industry where world production rose from 60 to 70 million units per year in the last 8 years. 62 to 70 million units. This is an expanding global industry.